2 years ago, I had a dream about money that made absolutely no sense. And I thought for sure it was just an anxiety dream. But now that that season is actually playing out in my life, it is 100% not an anxiety dream. This dream has symbolism of debt, receiving money, responsibility for the money, not being able to afford something, which appears to be incredibly common in my dreams, and real deep emotional feeling revolving around the money in this dream. In dreams, the emotional feeling around the money is often much more important than the amount of money. Remember that money in your dreams can represent many things, including energy, bandwidth, emotional capacity, which is usually what mine represents, responsibility, support, and emotional investment. And oftentimes, money in your dream is not about actual finances, but about your ability to feel capable of carrying whatever that money represents. Now, listen in close on this one. Sometimes the biggest message in your money dream isn't the ability to give it, it is the ability or feelings of worthiness to receive it. And that is what you're going to see in this real dream breakdown today. But first, I want to talk to those of you that are new here. My name is Nicole, and I am passionate about taking the dreams in your nightlife, breaking down your specific symbol language, and decoding your future with what you're receiving. If this conversation resonates with you, please hit the like button and subscribe so you know when new videos come out, and you let the algorithms know that people like you like content like this. All right, this dream was from May 15th of 2024, so just a little over 2 years ago. I was at a store and a customer was upset that her son got $16.97 worth of lottery tickets out of the machine. The machine has change just piled on it, and I give her a few pieces because that's what is owed. And I explain that we do not have control over the machine or what her son does with it. She explains that this completely overdrafts her account, and that's why she's upset. She asks if she can take all the change. And I do think about that for a moment, but it doesn't feel right. And I tell her that all that change will go to CMN. I say it in a way that denotes that she would want it to go to the children, right? Then compassion comes over me and I get a $20 customer satisfaction for her. Another leader under me comes over and she sprays a perfume sample on me and on another. It felt intentionally done, and I get so fuming mad. I yell at her and say she, of all people, it was like I was speaking to Angela, knows how perfume hurts Aaron. She is defiant and does it again, and I demand that she leaves, which she does in a huff. I'm then traveling with Eli to get the money to the woman, and we stop off at a house to rest. They are Christians, and the man of the house is very welcoming, but I'm concerned with overstaying our welcome. I do not fully receive his open door. They all pray over the $20 for it to bless the woman when it gets to her. And I start to feel like I should have given her the money out of my own pocket for it to truly count. I'm trying to see if I have enough money to give her, and then I can bring Walmart's money back to them. We fall asleep, and I wake up so rested. But I don't know how much time I've been away from work while I slept, and I'm worried about getting back. The man of the house returns from church, and I pretend to still be asleep. I think I see it's 1 p.m. That doesn't seem so bad, but by the time I'm ready to leave, it's 2:20. And now that feels really late. My breasts are exposed at one point when the man of the house is around, and I'm not too embarrassed. But I do get something to cover them out of respect. Now I'm walking, trying to get back, and it's a struggle. I feel lost. And Eli tells me our car was actually just one street away, but I keep missing it. I can't get there. Now, this is a long dream, and I'm not going to have time to go over every single aspect of it. Although, as usual, pretty much this entire dream has specific meanings that help me understand how to apply it to my real world situation and my real emotional state. Let's look at that first scene in the dream with Eli, who is my oldest, at the coffee table getting pictures for Christmas. It sounds random, but it's not random at all. And let me show you how. What is a coffee table? A coffee table is a publicly shared space. If you think of like a coffee table book, or where you invite people into your living room to be able to place things for them to be able to look at or enjoy, it's generally for public consumption. And then look at what kind of books are on that coffee table. They're Christmas books, and that's important. What is a Christmas book? At Christmas time, you're generally reading some kind of a book that you read every year that has nostalgia and meaning, shared meaning to it. And then we've discussed having a picture taken before, and that generally has to do with identity. Essentially, this two-sentence dream is showing that my meaningful story, the meaningful story of my life is getting presented. That identity, that shared story is getting presented for public view. And essentially, it is my podcasting right now. I come out here and I share personal dreams with you and I break them down. And there's a vulnerability there. There's a shared space that I'm showing real emotional movement one way or another publicly for your view. That is what that is showing, that I am sharing publicly my story, my identity. Now, here's where we get into the tough part. This customer, so I am both me in this dream and I am the customer. And this will be common in your dreams. You're going to see multiple people in your dreams sometimes, and sometimes they are going to reflect another person, but oftentimes they're going to reflect a part of you. And that is what this customer is reflecting. She is reflecting an emotional part of me, and then me in the dream is reflecting maybe more of a rational way to look at it, at least at first, in this first scene. Now, $16.97 is very specific. And what you have to actually look at is round up. So you look at the number 17 first, and that usually actually can have many meanings, but in this case, it's like a complete rest. But $16.97 is 3 cents short. So it's not quite complete rest. And it's overdrafting her account. And that isn't a true emotional feeling for me. Like, I can't get all the way to a complete state of rest. And now that cost for that lottery ticket and what that lottery ticket represents has overdrafted my account. My emotional capacity is overdrafted. And the feelings in that dream are strong. They are even accusatory, I would go so far as to say. Now look at the change that is piled on top of or sitting on the lottery machine. So the lottery ticket represents one thing. The change on top, did you hear what I just said? The change. It's changes in life. Metaphorically speaking, it's a pile of change, and my highly emotional, overdrafted self is saying, just give me all the change then. Let's just change everything. I want all the change. I want to move past this season now. You see? The rational side of me is saying, you can't have it all at once. You cannot have a complete life turnaround, a fairy tale Cinderella complete life turnaround all at once because of the Children's Miracle Network. This ties back to the Eli coffee table Christmas book dream. Here's why. It's an understanding from my rational mind saying, if you got all the change, if you had a fairy tale change that happened right at once, then the testimony, the stories of your life would not be available for the public consumption, for the benefit of children or those receiving my testimony, receiving my stories to benefit their future. Now, when I finally allow my emotional state of being, my overdrafted emotional capacity to receive my rational thought process, then compassion comes back to my heart. I calm down. When that compassion, this is the next scene, compassion comes back to my heart, and I want to, from Walmart, give a customer satisfaction. I want to give $20. That 20 is also important. One meaning for the number 20 is expectancy. So I go from wanting everything right now to, in a work situation, in working for, or maybe receiving from work, expectancy. Okay, at least I have the expectancy of good change coming my way. I got a little bit of change, right? So the Nicole rational self gives the customer emotionally depleted self a few pieces of change. I get some change, but now I have an expectancy for greater change in my future. Here in this next section of the dream, this stopping off at a house, I don't even have it totally broken down yet, but I can recognize what is happening in reality based on what is exemplified in the dream. And let me explain how. In this pause in my journey towards the lot of change that I'm waiting for, I stop off for some rest. That rest is meant to bring greater greater return on that time of expectancy. So that's the prayer over the $20. In that process of receiving a greater sense of what the expectancy can bring to my emotionally depleted self, I can't fully receive it. And that's why I don't fully receive, or I'm worried about overstaying my welcome in that man's house, because I cannot fully receive a continual state of rest. I get portions of emotional rest where I can be like, okay, it's going to be okay. Here's what my future holds. And then I go back into an emotionally depleted, frantic state, right? I can't receive the full rest. And here's what my heart begins to understand, that instead of trying to work to give expectancy to my emotionally depleted self, maybe I just need to look within my own self, bring that expectancy not from an external, logical place of being, but actually allow it to come from deep inside of me. That is that place of deep knowing, that intuitive, deep knowing of expectation for change to come. That last part about my breasts being exposed. You've had a lot of naked dreams. It's a very common dream for me, for you, for pretty much everyone. And it's just showing that this season for me is open and vulnerable. And I'm kind of trying to be respectful, or not be too emotionally explosive. Maybe, I'm being respectful, but it is an emotionally vulnerable time for me. And then that last section of Eli, so Eli was at the beginning of this dream, and now he's at the end of this dream. And it's almost like that full circle moment where I'm late. I feel late for something. I'm looking for the car, the avenue, the vehicle that's going to take me home, and I can't find it yet. Right now, like, even if you look at this current state of me making a video right now, reviewing this emotional meaning to this dream I had 2 years ago, it's like the right now future, the right now part of me represented in Eli is saying, it's just one street over. What does that represent? It represents that it's close. that vehicle, that mindset, that internal part of me that will bring sustained rest and peace is just a little altering of my path over. Dreams often represent emotional dynamics through financial functions. And this dream understood my emotional reality long before I did, which is why at the time I dismissed it as an anxiety dream. But now, after all the things that changed in this last year, I saw the real gold. And how do I literally am in real time sharing with you a dream that I am now able to take and alter my real, right now, emotional capacity path and put it into practice. I am now able to receive that rest and maintain that rest inside of me because of a dream I had 2 years ago that helped map my emotional capacity and how to get to that car that's just one street over. This dream has allowed me to receive, internalize, and maintain a state of peace in a very unclear, transitionary period of my life. And that alone is gold and why I take dreams so seriously. If you made it all the way through to the end of this episode, thank you so much for watching. I love talking about dreams and I hope you enjoyed it too. If you did, hit the subscribe button because this channel is only here because of you. And if you want to dive deeper into your own dreams, I have a free community for that. See the link below.